Hey, Don here. Okay, back with another live stream. Well, I tried to get rid of all that drainage and not cough, but that don't happen, does it? Okay, so I'm gonna set up. I'm set up a little different again because I got my work table here in front of me, and so I can show that monitor. I mean that keyboard a little more out of the way. Um, Gonna go ahead and put the Alcatel phone back together. The Alcatel A845L. I have three of them. And I was trying to make a video yesterday, and one of them locked up, which they do sometimes, and the other one I accidentally never done this before. I accidentally sprayed it with water. I was trying to do a soapy water bubble test, bubble test. I can't say it right on my air conditioner coils outside, and trying to get a video of it, and I squirted the phone, and it went inside of it because of the audio jack, and it happened to be on that side. If I can get, I've kind of got it down close so that I could get a good picture. I don't, where is it? Oh, there it is. That's it right there from the top side, anyway. Right there, and so I put it. I took it apart this far, and I decided I might break it if I took it apart any further. Because I was thinking, at first I was thinking I'd spray it with some electronics cleaner, that would dissipate water and everything, but help guard against corrosion too. But I was afraid that it would damage too many plastic pieces and the camera lens, plastic lens, the protective lens on the front that goes on the cover for the camera there, all that stuff. Was just didn't know what would happen, and most of all, the screen, and it wasn't wet. Water didn't get into it. Can't see any in there. So I thought, well, I imagine. See, there was water here in the battery tray under the battery, so I thought it's bound to be water down in there some. So I went ahead and left it apart all night and set it in front of a little fan. I got a little fan I keep in my room all the time, and I just turned it on, and let it run all day, because I've been up all night and sleeping all day lately, and then all evening too until it's 11:30. Oh no, it's 11:46. It's almost midnight, so it's been getting air dried for quite a long time. So I think it's about as good as good. I think that should be good enough. And opened up I've got the manual on PDF here. That's what they're called. They call them One Touch Pop Star, LTE. I never really. I like to call things by the model number and stuff usually. So, but A845L. I've got that. For some reason I remember that. I guess because I needed to know it a lot at the beginning, learning about it. That was my first smartphones I ever had. I got them 2 or 3 years ago, and I got them not really thinking they were $15 at Walmart, and I never have activated any of them. I got them thinking because I needed a phone. I wanted a camera, and they're the cheapest camera I could get that was half decent, and so I realized that these phones have, they have five. Well, these have 5 megapixel cameras, but they're actually 5 for pictures and 2 for video. But it's okay, it's good enough. Better, way better than my old webcams and stuff like that. The built-in webcam in my laptop, my other laptop, not the one well, you can't see the one I'm using right now. It's a Dell 1525. This is a Dell 6000 that I'm using right now to monitor my feed with. Let me check my audio there. So I guess I'll pause that stream over there. Pause my live feed until I need to see it again. But anyway, see right, the headset connector is what I'm talking about. Where I'm sure that was the side facing the way I squirted it, and I squirted it kind of on the side in the front, So I thought at first, it'd probably be all right because it's not going to be much seeping through the cover, but I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't like it immediately turn it up on. If I'd have been thinking, I'd have turned it up on its end with this end down, to help make sure it didn't go any further in there. But I didn't think about that. And of course, some could have even got in from this end, but this is the other end away from where I sprayed it by accident. And this wasn't just a squirt bottle. This was well, it was an aloe vera bottle. I don't know if you've ever used them, the ones you get at Walmart, with kind of about an 1/8 inch hole in it, so you can squirt it out, squeeze the bottle and squirt it out. Not a aerated squirter, with a little pump. So it's putting out a bunch of water, but that's what I needed to do what I was doing. So anyway, that's the manual, and I think I'll just close it now unless I actually need it. Oh, and I don't really need am I on desktop? No. Dad, gummit. All right. Sorry. Dang it. Okay, so let's open up the model. Starting out on a great note here. Here it is, Alcatel One Touch Pop Star. That's what I was showing you. And I just went down to the very first kind of section there. And I was showing the headset, the connector there. Of course, I showed it yesterday in real life anyway, in detail. So, but that's the kind of basic layout of it. But that's the front and the audio connectors what got the brunt of the water. So I'm going to go ahead and close both of those so as to give the machine less to do. And let's get on camera 3 again. I'm going to re-aim camera 3 so that it's on the table. Let's show my work. Sure is behind, I'll tell you that. I have to wait and wait. Sometimes when they do that, it helps to get on the desktop or something and then get back on there. I don't know, maybe it's a good thing that this one seems way more delayed than the others even. They're always delayed a little bit. Okay, that ought to do. I can move my keyboard tray a little bit more in, get that out of the picture. That gives me plenty of workspace to show. And if I need my keyboard, I can get to it. I figured out that if I set my work table, it's one of those rolling work tables, and if I set it just right, straight up, it wants to lean. It's those old kind you used to have in school. And they always want to lean, and I've been putting new bolts in it, and it did good for maybe a week, couple weeks, and then it started leaning again. So anyway, still pretty handy. But if you get it straight up, it actually fits just, within 1/16 of it. The keyboard tray is laying on it, but you can get it to slide fine without binding. Just got lucky. But anyway, on that, so let's get to a view where we can see them close up and the phone. See the work table and a close up all at the same time. Got more itches and things here going on. All right. I'm still debating about it, I guess. Those screws have, I'll put this, I used these, I think it was that one, to take it apart. And what I hadn't thought about was that I believe I have one that will do these screws, a nice screwdriver. It might do it. It's pretty big. Let's find out. So let's get them out. And this is a good place. The lid for this is a good place to put them in a place where you can pick them up. And, it's where I put them when I initially took them out. It also gives you a place to have them when you're picking them up. See, it's magnetized. So if it will fit the tiny little, my fingers are Not so good. Let's see. There we go. I think it might. But what I was wondering is, do I want to use Loctite again? There's some still on there, but of course that's not really gonna. It actually does make them kind of resist, coming out, just vibrating out. But and notice it's blue, so I don't know if it's, this stuff's made in China, so they probably have their own Loctite over there. Actually, they probably make Loctite, so maybe it is a genuine Loctite. Anyway, I actually have some. I've never really used this stuff. I didn't ever like it much because, especially on bigger nuts and bolts like on cars and things like that, because, it's 50-50 chance that what I've seen from it holding. If it's anything, when you put it on, if someone puts it on there, even out of a factory, there may be a little machine oil or whatever on there or something that makes it not adhere. So one screw's loose and the other one, it adheres really well, and it's so tight you can't get it off without stripping the head. What I really hate is it strips the heads out of the screws so easy. And you end up, ruining your screws trying to get them out. And, of course, little bitty screws like this, you can't do anything else but that if you're going to, if you think, I don't carry this in my pocket and everything like normal, but never know when I might change my mind and do it. So I was thinking, well, maybe I should put some in there. I just don't know. I don't want to get it all over everything, so I haven't ever even opened this thing up. I've used it years ago, but, man, it's been 10, 15 years or more since I've even had any. But I bought some for my carburetor on my truck, and that's what I bought it for. And haven't used it yet. But also, let's get it out. Let's see if I want to use it. Yep, I threw that down on the table. I just rammed it right across the camera. I've got it stuck real far out from its tripod to get it angled just right. Put this back over here where I had it. This doesn't seem very good where it is right now. Okay, so what I have is the I have to turn it really crooked to see it on the screen. It's actually the blue. The tube is all red, so I thought it was the red. Whenever the other day when I got it out, when I bought it, I made sure I got the one that's supposed to be pretty strong, but not permanent. I don't want the permanent one. But notice there's a picture of a 1/4-20 bolt on the front. That actually means something, because I read the back. It's the blue 242 is what it is. So removable 1/4 to 3/4 fasteners. That's what it's for, and it says it on all the instructions. So they got the blue on there. Now it could be a different brand or something, but there actually is. Oh, there's a chart here. That chart shows you. Let's see, fastener size. Let's see, where does it say the color? But it's all, okay, blue, red, green, so blue, we'll just stick with the blue. Fastener size, 1/4 to 3/4, and then the millimeter ones if you use millimeters. The torque ratings that it would take, to remove it and let it cure 10 minutes. Let's see. Cure 10 minutes, full 24 hours. Temperature that it will work within, which is pretty high temp, so that's good. And I'm planning on using this on that CPU fan that I modded a CPU cooler on my 512 megabyte video card, and I had to grind down the nuts so they'd fit between it and the processor board and everything, and so they won't stay on there. One of them already came off. I was just filing the sharp edges off with a file, and it came loose. It's only got about 3 threads, and so I'm going to put some of this on there. That's why it's in the house. But so I think I'll use it up before I get to it. So anyway, what I was thinking is if I put it all back together and it doesn't work, then I don't want Loctite on it, But I don't want to take it apart twice either. So that's what my debate is. Do I trust the drying out or not? Let me think here. There's another idea I've had on this. And that is, maybe I can put the battery in it and turn it on. No, there's too many connectors to the front of this that do things that I don't know what they are. Mostly the buttons, it looks to me like. Well, there's not that many buttons, though, as there are connectors. So I don't know that it would, part of the, well, that's the, that's half of the SD card holder, I think. No, that's half of the SIM card holder, I think. But there's connectors there, and I still wonder if that one's, it looks almost, see, there's three there, actually, and one of them looks like it could be corroded. But nothing wants to scratch off of it or anything, you know, like if it was corroded, you should be able to just even take your finger. Ooh, careful, you'll bend some of that stuff. Felt something get really a good hold of my fingernail. It could be that it was not, these are probably, well, just probably steel that's covered in copper coating. They've probably been kind of like anodized type thing, you know. Whatever, I don't know what I forgot what they call the process when they do that, but it's probably coated. It's probably not all copper, you know. So anyway, yeah, well, if I snap it together, then, well, I could do that. Snap it together, test it, and then if everything works, then go ahead and lock. Yeah, because you need to snap it together first. You don't want to lock. You're not going to, you know, you don't want. You're going to have to put this cover on before you Loctite it. So that's what I'll do. Okay. I knew if I looked at it, I have to look at things. I have to figure things out as I go. So that should be all right then. Okay, so now the camera is usually covered by this little lens here. They've been out in the dust and in the open here, so but I don't want to get it wet, but I do want to clean it. I have this cleaner that I use on my glasses. I think would be good for that. I used to use you know, Windex, but let's see. I guess I might be able to lay it under here. It's going to be probably too close. Yeah, there we go. Wipe and clear lens cleaner. It's let's say on there what it has in it. Anyway, it's clear. Somewhere on there it says what's in it. I'm just really too close to get that in there, but there we go. Water, isopropyl, alcohol. Does it say alcohol? Yeah, alcohol and detergent. So it's water, isopropyl alcohol, and detergent. I was thinking it had some ammonia in it, but it doesn't. So maybe there's ammonia in the Windex, and that's what I was thinking. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to. I'm going to put it on the, you know, paper towel first, not directly on any of this stuff, but just like how I clean my glasses. But I'm not going to leave it laying like this. I'm going to turn it over so that nothing can run, even if there's a little. You know, when you squeeze, get my little blue glove on. When you squeeze, get some on there. Need to get some more of this stuff. I'm running low on it. When you squeeze something, you know, paper towel, something, little liquid's liable to come out. So that's fine on here. I'll just do it like this, you know. But somehow I had the forethought to think. Usually I use the rougher side. These are Bounty paper towels, by the way. Usually I use the rougher side because it seems to clean my glasses better. But for something like this, I'm using I don't want, it's got more furry stuff on it too that might come off, so I don't want any strings in there or anything, definitely. Let's see. Let's switch this thing to just the endoscope where I can, that's what that's for, to help me see what I'm doing. Alright. Don't know which way would really help, what kind of background would help me see. Looks pretty clean. So now, the inside, of course, you'll never get but this chance to clean it. So that's why I'm trying to really be careful about how I do it. I just realized that I used don't want to reuse the same spot over and over, so I'm going to use the other side. But I'm going to turn this thing over and make a point out of it, because that's very deep in there. I'm going to have to make a better point than that, I think. Make a real point out of it. I think I'll roll it into a... really all I need is the actual point. I guess I'm going to hit that with some of this stuff and use it at point. I don't want to get any of it on the table, so I'm not going to do it over there. I'm running actually very low on this junk, and I tried to order it a week or so ago, and then they were out. So I couldn't get it. So I'm going to roll it into a point. There we go. Now see, that's kind of wet too, so I'm going to get off of this view so you can see what it is I'm doing. There's not enough space for me to be under there, so where is it? Let's just do that. There we go. Now you can probably tell a little more about what it is I'm doing. Get it where I can actually work with it, though. Okay, I got to make sure I hit the spot. Doggone it. I'm using the glove because this or Windex, just one use. If I do that without, I used to never use a glove or anything. I thought it was silly. Okay, so I'm trying to, it would make my skin dry and crack and bleed. And just within a couple of days, and then I used to do this at least once a day, usually 2 or 3 times a day. I mean, I still do, but I would do it without gloves. Now I'm going to try to use another corner to dry it. Of course, I've only got one on because generally I just only need one to clean my glasses with, but I almost need to the way I'm doing this right now. But as long as, you know, the way I was doing it without the gloves, I was kind of drenching my fingers. But that spot is really small, so let's try to do it under the close-up camera now. Maybe it'll help me. Now that I'm pretty sure I've got it mostly dry. The last thing I want is to get that all back together and find out that the camera's got a dust in it or something. That's what I really use these for, so. I have a dust, I'm just thinking. I mean, you can't really tell, but there's one other thing I am going to do. I have a little bit left. I have a can of air, you know. I think it's right over here on the desk. A little bit left in there. Because if you blow it, you know, with your mouth, you're probably going to spit in it on accident. Well, it's not in there where I thought it was. Let me look at my closet. I may have used it up. Okay, well, it's gone. Evidently, I used it up. Probably went throw it away, I guess. I remember it was around here for a long time. I tried to save it for a special day when I really needed it, and this was it. I guess I had a previous special day. So, oh, I could turn on my fan. I'm going to turn on my fan. No, that'll blow dust at it. Okay, let's dry out the mouth really good. and try to. Okay, I think I was careful. Let's look at it. I've had it happen to me so many times when I've tried to just blow something off real easy like that. Get big block of split on it. Big block of split on it. Right when you want to, right when you really don't want that to happen. Okay, so let me try my lighted. Can't really see anything any better that way. If I look at it normally without trying to go through the camera, then I can see the lens a little better, but I can't see if there's any speck of dust on it. Or leftover paper towel from all my cleaning efforts. I don't see anything. Let's see. Let me pick it up and look. I'm going to have to say that's probably okay. People that work with this sort of thing, or like, I remember a friend was a photographer and worked in a photo lab, and they had an air hose that had a dryer on it, from a compressor with a dryer. And they would blow, when they would make, when they would run a film to print it, and when they would make a copy neg or any of that kind of stuff to do an enlargement, they always had to make sure there wasn't any dust on there, or that was going to show up in the film as a tree, All right, so it just snaps together. Getting it apart was the hard part. Well, we'll say that. Okay, but I think it should snap together fairly easily. Yeah, I just work my way down it. And let's look down the edge there. Let's put it up. Let's go ahead and put this up in the air. I can move it. Whoops, this is why I don't like to move it unless I have to. But I want to be able to see that edge. It's hard to get it to set still. Once you let go of it, it wants to keep moving. But yeah, now I can see the edge. Okay. This is actually pretty good to help me since I don't see well anymore. Yep, there's a couple more snaps down there in that end. There's the end that was holding off. You see, most of it is held with snaps. So screws, of course, they kind of finish it off, I guess you could say. Make sure the corner, both ends stay down good, But that's kind of. I think one of these ends was like that, and that's how I got started getting it loose. So. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's another snap. There. So no, that was just an excuse. I didn't have it snapped yet. Okay. Let me raise it up again. It doesn't stay so great. Unless I readjust the whole tripod, and I was trying to not do that. Okay, stop moving. Try holding it with one hand and snapping with the other then, because it won't quit moving. Uh-oh. Squeeze on one end and that other end comes loose. I guess you got to find a happy spot, medium, and leave it there. Happy spot to leave it. Okay, now. I think that should be good once I get the screws in there. That end, let's go. I believe that, if I remember right, that is actually the end that was the only end where I could easily get it started getting it loose. Yeah, you snap one end, and the other one lets go. Oh, there must be something in the middle causing it to do that, like around that USB. I think well, I don't know. I guess I fixed it. Now they're not doing that. So I squeezed. I didn't feel anything give, but once I gave it a squeeze around the USB, now it quit rocking back. It was rocking back and forth. Whoops! I thought it was. Well, there's screws close to that. I think they'll take care of it. You don't want to leave any of it unsnapped that can be snapped, though, because that is what it depends on to stay together. I know that much. I'm taking apart enough other bigger snap together things like bezels on laptop monitors. I thought that was tiny, hard and small enough for me. Actually ruined a good monitor using, like I was doing yesterday, using a screwdriver to get it apart. You should use something that's non-conductive and not sharp, especially on a monitor, because it slipped. It went past something, and slipped and poked the LCD and ruined it. So, yeah, now I guess I can power it up. I need to put the SIM. Oh yeah, I got to put the SIM card and the got them right here, and the SD card in there. Otherwise, it will not see everything as it should. Okay. Let's wipe that off. Make sure there's no fingerprints. I try to not touch the connectors, but you never know. Or you might have some dust on there or something. Yeah. I would have been okay at this stuff, small stuff, when I was young and I could see good, because my hands are really not too big, and I used to have really good dexterity. When I worked on, but I started out working on cars and doing woodwork type of stuff. But I could reach my arm up so far that up in behind a train, like say getting a transmission loose, up trying to reach the top bolt from underneath there or something like that or whatever, and I could reach up in there and do things without ever seeing, and I could always turn my hands and fingers. I can still do it to a certain extent, but I could turn them in places where other people couldn't even get their hands up in there, but not so much anymore. Okay, so my battery gonna go like that. There's the connectors. Yeah, so that's way plenty together enough to turn it on. I want to hold it though. I'm not going to lay it down. I'm going to hold it. So let's get to a dual view, I guess, again. So, oh yeah, okay. See the little white deal? That's where the power is. I just know that because I remember. See if I can press that with my fingernail. I'll try. May have to have the lid on it. Why don't I just do that? Well, if I put that on there without any screws, it's liable to pull it apart. So let's try one more time. Oh, I just wasn't hitting the spot, I don't think. Let's get this screwdriver that's not too sharp and try it with that. Where's my little deal? I'll put it in the close-up view, and then maybe I can press it. There we go. I just wasn't able to push it in well with my finger nail. I'd like to lay it down, get it more in the picture, but I have to turn it way sideways to get it to show right side up. But it's booting up. That's a very good sign. It's kind of slow at booting up. That's the provider, the real provider, TracFone. Or that's the maker, I should say, not the provider. But, all right. So it's up, and it's I don't know, I'm just opening an app just for the heck of it. Okay, there's the camera app. All right. I'm going to just turn it off. I don't need to make a video or anything. Uh-oh. The back button doesn't seem to want to. There we go. I guess I wasn't hitting it good because I was doing it with my thumb. My thumb never does it for. I don't know what it is. I mean, my thumb is not huge, but Okay, so let's, everything looks perfectly normal. That always does that. What does that say when it does that? I never can see it because I'm busy trying to make videos. Auto boost complete. 33 apps stopped, released. Okay, I had that turned on. I turned that off on some of them. Oh, it went to sleep. Yeah, it's back to the default. See if I can hit that. There we go. I kind of decided that was probably it might be detrimental to my. Never turned off my video apps or anything, but yeah, I gotta use that screwdriver. I can't do that. Oh no, it worked. Hurry up and do it. Okay, there we go. Finally, kind of realized where the deal was. Okay, so now I'm going to take the battery back out before I keep fooling with it. And yeah, it runs. So yeah, I think it's a good idea to put the I think I'll start down at this end. It's the more delicate end. Get those screws in there. I think I'm going to have to turn it what's good for me instead of what's good for the video. I'll try to keep them in the video as I go, but put these. I want these screws over here so I don't have to dangle them out into places like where there's a crack in the table there. Yeah, put them right there close to where I'm working. Now, I think this screwdriver will. Oh, where's my Loctite? I haven't ever even opened it yet. So, these scissors that I had for telco work were really handy for stuff like that right there. You can cut down there far enough so that I always like to keep the little instructions and all that stuff. So it actually helps you to, like these bottles of glue and whatnot are always really best to keep standing up. Once you've opened them, they won't all collect in the end and dry out so bad. So I usually find a place where I can stand them up. I just cut some off there, but I don't know where it went. Oh, it didn't come off yet. There. Those scissors don't look like much, but they're actually pretty darn handy. They will even cut wire, small wire. They even have a stripper on them. They're a cable installer type of pair of scissors. They come with a kit with a wire stripping knife and a little thing to wear on your belt. But those will strip two sizes, like a 22 and 24, I think, AWG 22 and 24. They're not very good at doing that, but the scissors themselves are good little scissors. This knife here, and that's for stripping big cable like 4-aught. We used to install 4-aught power cable in the telephone company central offices. That's what we had for stripping that. Other stuff we had wire strippers for, but the big stuff like that, you do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. Guess I'll just use this. It's probably fairly dirty now. Let's fold it back up. I'm going to get this. I'm going to have to cut this, and I know this is liable to go everywhere. Get it where this will help me see what I'm doing now. Yeah, I got to cut the end off. Okay, well, I'll use my utility knife for that, I guess. Scissors usually they're too blunt of a tool for that. I want it to be small, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut it off. See, I can't see that anymore, even with my little magnifying glasses on. So this is actually necessary for me. It's not just to show. There we go. Well, did I get it? I can't tell. If I can get that lined up. I don't think it did. You know what I should have done? I should have tuck a pin in that. Well, I can still do that. I didn't cut it off that much. See, I didn't get a hole. I didn't make a hole in there yet. I mean, normally you'd want a bigger hole than that, but wait, pin is going to be really hard to do that with, and probably won't even be a big enough hole. I got this thing right here. That's pointy enough. Okay, let's see what we can do about that. I think it'd be good. Good for poking myself with. I can see that coming. Let's don't poke the fingers. If we're going to poke something, let it be something tough like a pair of pliers. Okay, now, can we do this? Looking at it in real life, I think is better than trying to do it. Well, I'll do both. Get it started and get it in the right place. I don't think that's working. It's too tough. That did not work. Let's go to plan C. I have some... They're out in the garage, though. I got some flush cut. Yeah, I don't want to get Loctite all in these, even if it'll work. I've got some little cutters here, but I'm moving around a lot, I know. I've got some flush cut wire cutters out there, but I don't want to get it all over them either. So let's just quit worrying about it so much. And I need something to prop it up on. There we go. Now. Okay, now we got probably the end cut out of it. No? Are we sure? I didn't think it'd be that hard to do. How crazy. This should not be the problem. Should it? You never know what might be the problem. Like I said, well, I mean, like I said earlier, the reason I'm being so picky about it, I didn't want a real big hole in it because of where I'm trying to put it. In a tiny, tiny little screw. Okay, I think it went in there this time. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is blue. I was like, oh, why is it blue? Because it's blue. The tube is red. This stuff is blue. How idiotic is that? Why would you make a red tube, color the tube red, can't see the stuff in there, how much in there or anything, can't see where it's coming out or not, you know? Okay, so let's put this off to the side. I like to complain. Okay, so wait. How am I going to do this? That's what I was trying to avoid. I just dropped a little piece. There it is. Piece of plastic in my lap, but I did catch it. Okay, so this part that's been folded under and not got dirty, I think I can use it for... Okay, no. There we go. There's one of them. Let's try this first. I'm gonna put... That's blue. Okay, blue. Put some out on there and see if I can dip the screw in it, because I'm going to be using the magnet. Because see how much of that... You can see how much of that came out. One drop. That's one drop. Get that. Just close it up. Put it over here out of the way. Maybe that will work. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not a Loctite user, so I don't know. But I'm going to try it this way. Yep, got some on there, I think. Yep. So I'm going to dip it in it, and I cannot see it on the video, but it's really hard to line things up through a video, especially when you bump into the camera. That's not even close. Maybe if I get my... Yeah, my magnifying glass. Oh, there. Oh, I was so far off. There. I'm going to get that started. At least it's clipped down. I mean, I don't want them tight. I just want them started. Get snugged. Not even really snugged. Yeah, this screwdriver's working. I was worried that it wasn't going to work. That's probably going to be enough that I have out there on that to do them all. Oh, yeah, there's 3 screws. Let's do the other corner first. I'm going to have Loctite wipe up to do. I can see that. I wish I'd have thought of this screwdriver. I didn't think of it. I don't know why, because I don't even like those other ones, those jeweler's screwdrivers or whatever they are. The handles are too little around when you're untight. When you're trying to take something loose, you don't have much torque. This one's got a nice big handle, but it's got a pointy enough point. Except for on this screw, I can't seem to find the spot. Don't know why. Is there something in there? No. Did I get it? Come on. Can't be different than the others, can it? Maybe I boogered it up so I'm getting it out or something. Let's try this little bitty one. The thing is, it's not going to stay in it because it's not magnetized. That's not the Phillips. I could tell by the feel. I couldn't see it. My light is just sitting there burning for nothing. I'm trying to hurry. Ah, come on. Where the heck are the Phillips? Every one I pick up is not a Phillips. Is that a Phillips? I don't think it'll stay in it, though. It's the thing at all. No. Let me try the other one again, the one that I've been using. I don't know why it's not going in the... Be careful, I'm about to lose a screw here. I think I got it that time. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I've been doing, is just getting, I think it's soaking into the paper towel now. Oh, I got some on there. Okay, now. Sorry about the moving camera. My fingers, I just can't hardly get away from my fingers hitting that. Okay, now. Well, keep thinking that stuff's gonna dry up, but so far it still looks like it's working, so. Okay. Now. Get me another screw. Oh, I had two of them. I moved my little tray of screws, and I'm afraid that I really moved it to the wrong place. Too close to the crack in the table. So I'm going to move it again. Can't seem to get happy with all this. Okay. Now, there's one of those screws. Okay, now. It wants to fall off of there. That should do it. This time the screws are kind of spread out, so I can kind of the light bothers me, kind of blinds me when I lay it in. There we go. Now. So I'm kind of getting them until I feel them snug up, and then I'm backing off a little bit. You might not think all the little details are all that important, but they actually are, because I don't care what you're putting together. of doing all that, what I'm talking about with the screws, you don't want one screw tightened down ever, or two. You don't ever want to start tightening them as you go. Things need to shift into place. Almost everything does. So you need to leave it so that they can shift into place. Even though this is snapped on and all that, it's still, because a lot of times you think you got it in the right place because it's a snap-on thing or whatever, and then you got your, you get down to the last couple of screws and they won't line up because it's been screwed down, with one screw hole and not lined up, Well, I'm glad I did that. I didn't think that was. I kept thinking about doing it this way, and I kind of thought to myself that wasn't a real good idea to put it out on a paper towel or something. Actually, that was the only way to do it, because if I'd have tried to squirt that in each and every hole, I don't know if I got that crooked or. No, it's fine. Okay, now. Let's get this off this paper towel. Every one of them is, like I said, kind of snugged and then backed off. So now I want to wipe any excess off of there. That first couple I got, kind of messy with, but then I got a little better at it. See, that's how much I got all over it. Yeah, let's wipe it on that. Well, that part can be cleaned. That I might have got. If I hit that, I just thought, I wiped right across it, I think. But if I did get anything on it, then it can be cleaned, even when the cover's on. Let's look at it and see. Doesn't look like I actually got anything on it. Okay, good. See, there's the camera lens down in there now. Okay, so I don't know. Let's start down here, I guess. It's not going to matter. It's not a cylinder head, and you don't want to over tighten them. This screwdriver is big enough. You could really you could break that screw or strip the. It looked like a brass insert that it screws into, so you probably wouldn't strip that, but you could certainly break that little tiny screw. I mean, you want them tight so that they'll. Well, you want them all the way in there, for one thing, but you don't want. Sometimes things that snap together, you think they're snapped and they're not. And that tightening that screw will finish it, I mean, it didn't. I mean, if it did, I couldn't tell it, but you never know. Okay, so. Okay, we'll do a torque pattern. We'll make our own up here. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, cylinder head is on a car part if you don't know what that is already. So I figure if you're interested in anything like that, well, I guess if you're interested in electronics, and I'm actually telling you things you don't already know, then maybe you don't know what a cylinder head is. So a lot of times I like to watch this stuff all the time, and half of it I've been doing all my life, but I like to see what's inside of things a lot without having, before I buy it or something, or just because I think it's interesting. Especially old retro gear, and learning things I don't know, of course, but some of the details I like to mention are things that are left out a lot in a lot of really good videos, but just certain details that are left out. So I just mentioned them. Well, that's what was in the way of that. I thought it was a sticker, but I actually that's why I had a little bit of a time getting that screw in there. I can't believe I did that. I fished that screw right beside that I couldn't see. I was not really looking. Let's go ahead and take that out and double check that. I should have had that out of there. When I took it apart, I did have it out. The thumbnail will barely even get in there. But that one, I actually made it fish right past that. It worked. I can't believe that. Yeah, don't got any blue on there. Okay, I use my shirt to wipe it this time. Hey, it's not dirty. I changed it last night. I like to. I wear my shorts over and over, but I change my shirts and everything else every night. Just so you know. Okay. Shorts. I mean these blue ones, blue jean shorts, not my shorts. I don't call them shorts. I call them underwear. The other ones. Okay. So yes, I definitely changed them. I don't flip them inside out either. I never could believe people did that. Okay, yeah. Put you away. I don't even like seeing those things. I mean, they are a definite thing you need when they're the only thing that'll do the job. But boy, if anything else will do it, I'd rather have it than something else. Okay, so yeah, let's try it out again now. Use my shirt again. Make sure there's no finger grease or anything on the... Okay, back together. And there is... Let's see. I always try not to... which side has the buttons? Oh, well, the buttons... The things you want to watch out for are the pieces of the buttons on the inside. That's what you kind of got to be careful of. Oh, no, that's not buttons. Here it is. There's the... Yeah, there is. Yeah, those are the contacts that touch the little white buttons. Okay, so I guess that's still the best way to do it. I generally go this side first and then do that. And I thought, well, since I can see it, maybe I'll check and see what I've been doing, if it's a good idea. I think I see a little piece of lint or something there. It's amazing what you can see. Well, I actually did see that off camera, off preview. But it helps me to see that. I can't see. When I first bought these just 3 years ago with my glasses, I could see that. I thought pretty good. Now I can snap that together and think it's okay, and then I'll say, well, maybe I better check it. And then like there's several places that are not snapped together. And check it with the magnifying glass, you know. I used to. It's funny because when I first got these, I cleaned those several times a day. I couldn't stand having fingerprints on them or anything, and now I'll just make sure and clean the lenses before I use the camera. The rest, I clean them once in a while. Well, I can't clean them good now when they're in. This one is one of the ones that stays. This is camera one. It stays in the metal tripod all the time. So it's hard to clean them. I'll kind of try to dust them off a little bit. Maybe I can raise that up a little bit. Just a little. I guess it doesn't want to raise up. There. Whoops, that's a little too far, I think. Well, maybe it was better to have it like that. But I was wanting to show what I was doing, you know. Okay, so now it needs to be lower. So I thought. That's where I had it in the first place, was low, just right for viewing the screen. Well, I had it just right for viewing the... It's got 15 seconds to do something, and then it's too late. Okay, well, I'm going to... Which way is which? Oh, I see. I'm going crazy. It's pretty... I have to have it like totally crooked to me to have it straight in the screen. So... What do I want? I want settings at the bottom. Okay. Let's go to the in the scope. Maybe now I can actually read it on there. Okay. except for the reflections, and there's no light on that on. It's the ceiling light doing that. Well, quit talking and get down with business here. Okay, display is what I'm looking for. And I can't do it from looking at the preview. I got to do it from looking at the... Oh, that did help a little bit. Okay, the sleep. I'll put it on a minute if I can hit that. Minute, well, let's go ahead and do a minute. No, let's leave it on 2 minutes, especially right now. It doesn't really matter that much because this thing constantly, and it may have to do with my app that I like so much doing that to it. Actually, it seemed like before I had that app, it did that kind of stuff worse, like whatever's the battery saver that's portion that's built into the, Android OS here. This is, I was trying to remember what version I got here. Kernel version 3.4.0. And yeah, Android version 4.3. So there's a lot of cool things that are out now that it won't do. Of course, I've never got a single update for the operating system since I got them because they were already out. They were already into EOL into life from the manufacturer when I got them. So, they were $15. It's fine. But and I rooted one of them once, but the bootloader's locked, and I learned all this as I went. And so as soon as I rebooted it wasn't rooted anymore. So I'd have to unlock the bootloader and then root it and then get it to stay the way I want it. And I've been planning on doing that with at least one of them. See how I don't want to. There's always a chance you brick one of them, but I've done really tricky things pretty tricky things in Linux, like partitioning and all that for years. So. And it's a Linux kernel it runs on. It's the file system, the layout, it's all Linux. It's just the whole ecosystem that's Android, and it's like freeware, shareware party, with ads and crap in your face and all that junk. That's one reason why I don't mess with it much. I just use it, it works for what I need it for, mostly. And I don't like messing with it because I can't stand the ecosystem. Now, if I could... there's more and more Linux operating systems come out that'll run on these ARM processors. So if I really would like to try one of these, try just flat out installing a full-blown Linux with a touchscreen, interface for ARM on one of these. I've got a Raspberry Pi, and I've done that enough to, I feel confident to do it on one of these probably. But it's just kind of a back burner toy project that I might do one day. But since these are quad cores with a gig of RAM, that runs circles around a Raspberry Pi of any kind. I've got the Raspberry Pi Model B, so it's 512 megabytes, a 750 megahertz processor. So that's why it's really. I used it as a media center for a couple of years for my mom, and she really never used it. It went to sleep already. See, that didn't seem like 2 minutes to me. But you can't really run. Well, I started with XBMC, and then they changed to Kodi. Changed their name to Kodi, and then I had to change to one that was a stripped down version because it couldn't run Kodi anymore after a few months of updates. Couldn't play videos anymore, and of course the video resolution got higher too, and that's the other thing. But I don't like that menu-driven interface. I like web browser and search and watch, And most of the stuff I watch anymore is on YouTube anyway, so that's pretty simple, to get to. And, of course, this is too tiny for me to watch anything on, but I'll make stuff on there. But what I use is IP webcam up there. I don't think it took when what's that? Oh, I hit open camera by accident, but I hit YouTube without, it didn't come up. So anyway, IP webcam, that's the app I use to stream to my local network. and it's really powerful. You can do a lot with it. But it streams a if you're familiar with VLC, Video LAN player and streamer, that's what it does. It streams a VLC stream that you can pick up with OBS Studio, or you could with it VLC. But I picked it up with VLC, and it sure used up the system resources fast. But see, if I hit start stream, I've already got set up to stream just video, no audio, and it's all set up in my it's camera 2, I think. So it probably will pick up. Yeah, I believe that's what we're seeing. No, this is camera 1. There we go. Sometimes it won't when you already have, yeah, there we go. When you already have VLC running, it's gotten a delay. There's more delay tonight. Sometimes my network just doesn't. Oh, I forgot to reboot my router before I started. It usually helps. Really did forget that. Dadgummit. Because I made a video last night and I wasn't sure, but that's my laptop that I preview everything with. It's zoomed in, and I don't want it zoomed in. Why is it zoomed in? It's really weird because I can see the whole laptop and half the room in the preview, but it's zoomed in. The actual picture is zoomed in. That could be a bad thing. That could be something wrong with it. Should have tried it. I guess I should have tested out a few apps before I locked it down with Loctite, huh? The preview shows it like it's normal without a zoom, but I've got a zoom going on there. Well, maybe that doesn't make sense. Can I get into that? Let me get on the desktop, and I don't know, what can I do? I'm going to lay it down. Let's see, let's go back to it. I'm going to lay it down here on the table and let it be. I was trying to have it look at just looking at the ceiling. That won't help. I need something I can frame it on, but I don't want to sit here holding it. So maybe if I lean it up somewhere, it's not really particular. There's kind of aiming at my monitor. Now I'm going to get on the desktop and check my video preview too while I'm at it. I'm hoping that I can get in. So you can remote control IP webcam. I'm hoping that I can fix that. It's just a settings issue that somehow it got changed, not a hardware issue, because of it getting wet, I'm hoping. Okay, so I got to go to 192.168.194.80 port 8080. I think I'll go to here, that's cam 2, 194. Okay. Oh, let's put my screwdrivers up. Well, I'll just put them off to the side right now. I may not be done with them after all. Get my keyboard out as far as I can. Okay, now got all this stuff up in the way there, but okay, 194, right? Yeah, 194. So if I get rid of some of those letters and change them, I should go right to it. There you go. Browser. There we go. Did it go back to normal? See, it's not zoomed in on the page. The control page. I am on the desktop, right? Yeah. See, it's zoomed all the way out. Quality, I don't know why the quality, you can't, even though you set it at 100% in the settings, it always does 99%. Exposure is normal. So let me look at the, oh, the screen went down. I guess I hit something, I probably made it minimized, but anyway. Oh, it went back to normal now. I don't know. That's really strange. Well, now it's normal. That's just what I see. That's exactly what I see in the preview now on the screen. So it was just a software glitch. That's good. I was kind of worried there for a minute, but it straightened out. So that's the laptop, and that's my preview of the stream. Okay, and everything's working good over there. So normally this one is in the metal tripod right up there, and that's where camera 3 is now. Normally camera 3 has my lapel mic in it, and I turn off the camera and just use the audio stream. It actually turns out that works best. Each stream, you know, because when I try to stream audio and video from any one of the cameras, I drop lots of frames of audio and video, especially when I go out in the garage. But it even happens in here close to the router. See, there's the D-Link router right there behind it, that orange house with the lights on the front. And there's a TP-Link under it, sitting on the TP-Link. I can see the light. There we go. Kind of see the monitor's making it not show up, so I can fix that quite a bit. This is how I make it to where I usually put it on -4, and then I can see when I point straight at a monitor, it's not washed out so bad. And you can actually see this is 720p. If I was doing 1080, then you could actually read the screens, especially on my big monitor. But when I'm going up there to try to get the half monitor, if I get that monitor out of the shot, there we go. See how suddenly everything came in? That monitor is so bright it washes out, but I've got my modem right there now where I can get to it easier. I used to have it down in the corner. That's my box of sticky notes. I think that's all sticky notes. No small box either of sticky notes. And that's my old sticky notes. I keep books of sticky notes. Okay, so it's working. And go ahead and get out of there now. And I actually put Cam 2 on the monitor. And I didn't really see why I thought I would use it, but see, that's 1, 2, okay. Yeah, Cam 2's on, 3, okay. I got myself all turned around. So, good news then. Let's put it back on the table and we'll go to endoscope again. So yeah, I see it. IP webcam shows you the IP to go to and the port once it starts up. And I don't know why it's in there twice. Oh, you can do HTTP or HTTPS, secure. If you want secure, you can do that. But there's a way to turn off and don't even allow it to stream anything but secure, but I don't worry about that on my local network. I'll get out of it now. Now, let's see. Turn on the YouTube app. Oh, I have it. Yeah, I have it turned sideways. You get the weirdest stuff sometimes when you're not. Well, it should be logged in. You know, on your front page. But I see different things on. I hardly ever get on them on the phones, but I see a lot of different things in here than I do on the computer. That's something I've already seen. I do remember that. But oh, I started reading that. Losing my mind here. And see, my phones, you can hit that, for instance, things you can. One thing I wish I could do, if you hit that, make a video, instead of it doing, how do I make that straight to you? Okay. Instead of it doing a live video like you can do now, straight from your phone or whatever, it just says, what do you want to do? What do you want to make a video with, open camera or the one that came with a camcorder? So if I make a video, it will do the video and then it'll upload it. It'll ask you if you want to upload it, and you can have it automatically uploaded. That's the only advantage of that. And that new tablet I got Mom for Christmas last year, it'll do it. It's got like, you know, the newer, I don't know if it's the newest, but it's 5 point something or whatever, Android. It's a 10-inch tablet with 8 cores and 4 gig of RAM. Pretty cool. And I saw the other day, I said, well, what if they have 8-core phones now? And they sure enough do. The only ones I didn't see anything more than 2 gig of RAM though. But if I was going to get something like that for myself, I'd get that. Well, it was like $97 or $8 when I bought it, and it's a little like $95 now. And that particular one actually has worse reviews now than it did back when I got it at Christmas last year. But we haven't had any trouble with ours. But then I'll buy another one, it'd probably give trouble, But normally it's like, I think it's down to 3 stars now, and I think it was 4 stars when I got it. But I usually don't buy stuff that's 3 stars. And if you read, well, especially I read what are the complaints in there. If they sound like legitimate complaints that I don't want to deal with, then I don't risk it. But anyway, now these had 3 stars, but the complaints were that they ran out of space too fast. That was the number one complaint. There was one, I forgot what the other. There was some other complaint that you'd see occasionally. But I spent a day or two researching them before I bought them, because I thought, how can they be $15? There's got to be something really wrong with them. I finally decided, well, they're like 2 years old, out of date. I mean, and they run out of space, so that's a major thing for phone users. I thought, well, if I just don't put too many apps, and I'll get an SD card for it, and mostly what I wanted to do is use the cameras and record videos. And I've got it turned wrong again. I get it just right for the. I was going to go in here and look. Got to thinking I could show the specs of the camera and all that in here. Probably could have done that when I was in about the phone. That they have, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, of course. No, it's not in there. I don't know where it is. But they also have radios in them. AM, FM radios, or FM radios. May not be AM. But you just plug in a set of headphones and that's to your antenna. It works really well. And I don't listen to the radio a lot, but if you were out somewhere and you needed a radio, you've already got it. It's pretty cool. So just make sure you have some headphones with you. You don't even, well, yeah, if you plug that, you need that. I'm going to say you could just use an RCA cable or something like that, like a 3.5 millimeter cable of any kind. But if you don't plug it in, we could plug it into your, say if you're in your car, you might have a way to plug it in to play it through your, your stereo. That'd be better than headphones. But definitely when you keep some sort of headphones with you if you were going to want to use the radio, though. Anyway, I thought they said 101. That's 101. 85 degrees. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So, seems to be working okay. Now, this is not the one I uninstalled Chrome on. It has Chrome on it. But, the one thing I do hate about Android is all these apps force themselves to run in the background, and I don't care how many times. I say, why is it showing Uber? Oh, it's the last site I was on, I guess. I thought it was the app for a minute. I installed it and uninstalled it because I said I didn't like their terms of service, and they had such bad reviews of people getting ripped off and left and right. And I just took it off there, and I never used it. But I was going to show the app. This is a real good app for keeping your phone clean and freeing up memory and all that stuff. But you got to pay attention. You got to learn how to do the settings, what's best for you, because it might, like I have it set for auto boost at the beginning, and I thought I went through all the phones and said, okay, don't pop that thing up and tell me, because it's irritating. Smart Charge always messes things up for me, and my phone, make my camera apps quit or something. Auto Tasks is an add-on actually that you get for it, and I actually ended up turning it completely off because it was I forgot what it was doing now, but it was messing things up for me. Definitely don't want the Wi-Fi to quit. That'll kill my IP webcam, my streams. auto clean cache. That was breaking my videos. It was helpful. It kept one of these phones, whichever one kept filling up. The other one, the one that I took Chrome off of, kept it running for a long time. But then it would finally get Chrome. I didn't know what app was growing. It took me months and months to figure out what app was filling it up, and it turned out to be Chrome. And what I figured out, I believe, is that it was the only one I had set to sync bookmarks and all, and apps and add-ons, and stuff like that. And so it was a gig. The other one, like this one, if you see what size is it, yeah, ROM use reminder, that's fine. But auto boosted screen log on, that's fine, but I don't want it popping up. I don't know if it's necessary though. That's the one that keeps popping up. ROM overuse reminder, that's actually good. That's for the onboard. The ROM is the onboard flash memory. If you didn't, maybe that's what everybody calls it. I don't call it that really, so I had to think about it. Excess RAM usage, junk removal. Let's see. App2SD, that we remind you to move your apps to the SD card. All of them that you can move. I move all of them except for one that won't move. That Kingsoft Office won't move. It came with it. Leftovers, when you uninstall, it'll clean the leftovers. It'll tell you, do you want to clean them? App backup notification. These are just notifications, but they're good ones, And that other stuff, see, I had some of that on like that, and now I've got it turned off. SD card path, software improvement. Yeah, okay. So the one thing I think I'm going to turn off, it's just really bugging the crap out of me right now. I don't think they actually need it. Auto boost on startup. I thought it would. I've really, even though there is a bunch of crap running, I thought I had set it up so that it could do the boost but not bug me and pop up. See, what it does is I start my camera and it interrupts my camera, and it's really hard when it's in the tripod with all the rubber bands on it to hit that spot and answer that darn thing. So just for me, it bugs me. But if you do want to boost it, which is closing all the running background apps and stuff, you definitely got to set up what you want to not boost, because you don't want to turn off, Avast, antivirus, malware bytes, and stuff like that. And what's it doing? It's got an ad up there. Now in perfect. Oh, it's already doesn't need boosting because it did it when I booted it up. That's what it is. Okay. Clean will clean up cache. And that auto cache cleaner I had turned on. This is how I kept them running when they kept filling up. I had it running automatic. But after so long, it would do it anyway. But when I finally figured out, like, I can delete all that, I'm not trying to. I believe I closed the IP webcam app, but even if it didn't, that won't hurt. But if it does that while you're streaming, then it breaks messes it up. It takes a bunch of frames out of your videos, what it does, and get a jump cut in your video. I started having that happen when I had that running, and I was like, what's going on there? I don't know how many times it happened. I only noticed it once. But see, now there's your SD card, only 2% of it used. You can go in there and do a lot of fun stuff with that. And then the onboard ROM, now I got 600. See, I took 300. I cleared. It's only 1 gig in the first place, so now I have 697 megabytes left. But I just got through cleaning 300. So, see, I really only had about 300 until I did that. So the cache cleaner is a good thing, but it messes up my video, so I'm not using it automatically anymore. And then, see, where's that? Battery saver I don't use because it messes up apps. That my video, everything revolves around my video streaming. So this is the apps that are installed. See, these are. And this you can uninstall from here, and it'll clean them. And the reason I like to use this instead of the onboard one is because it'll clean the leftover crap. And I got plenty of stuff on here still, These are things, well, no, that's everything. That's not just if I install. What the last time I got into these and I said I'm going to uninstall Chrome from all of them, I couldn't find Chrome anywhere in a place where I could uninstall it, the system app or this one. So I still don't understand that. See, it's not there to allow you to uninstall it. I don't know if I dang sure didn't lock it or anything on purpose. You can lock apps with some. I think this one will do that. I've never done it on purpose. But it's not in there. They're not in alphabetical order, so. And there's the one that you can't not move. King. Oh, no, that's a video editor. It's actually pretty good, but it's hard to do on a small screen. And then you can go to APK, and that is. I forgot what it is. Oh, that's my backups. I could. So you can install or delete. That's the backup APK. You know, that's what Android's executable for installing are APKs. So that's the ones I have on there. So, and then and I have them on the SD card, not on the onboard, because it's only 4 gig. Yeah, 4 gig I think, which fills up pretty quick. That's the only thing that hasn't been moved to app to SD. You know, app to SD card. And it can't be moved, so. But, and when you try to get out of it, it always does that. It says you have to, it tries, and it's really hard to hit the exit. You have to hit that exit. If you just keep doing that, it'll just keep going. It won't go out of it. You keep hitting the back button. But you have to hit exit. Used to it was different. What I used to do is just hit the home button and get out of it. But the thing is, what I didn't realize, it was still running in the background. So, like say, if you want to use, you don't really want it running in the background because you're making videos or something, then it's not really a good way to do it. But you can hit that. If you want to go back to it and, oh, I forgot what to hit. So it goes back to that same screen. Be real careful, and if you don't, half the time I hit the add on accident. They do that on purpose, trying to get you to look at it. I don't know why. I mean, if you're not interested, why, if they force you to look at it, do they think that you're going to be interested all of a sudden? You're just pissed, and no matter what it is, you don't want it. So, I mean, that's the thing that I hate about almost every app. Well, every app that has ads like that. I would call those intrusive ads. But this app, I've tried several other ones, and they're actually way worse. IP Webcam used to play a video in your face, and I tried to find a different app. I got so sick of it, they quit doing it. So, same video, one video, and you play it every time you open the app up. Some song. And they quit doing it, so... you know, it's got some blinky ads in it, but they're not so bad now. So, what was I going to say? If I go home then, so you can see the basic stuff I got on there. I don't know why I wanted. It's like, while I'm here, I've asked. Camera File Live is okay. Since if you're like me on these older versions, you can stream to YouTube with Camera File Live. It does work, and I guess if I would bring my camera down a little bit, try to straighten it up some more again, and wait for it. Try to help stop it. Now you can read that. Okay, just have to page my phone up and down. So, Drive is useful, especially on here. One of them I took Gmail off, the other one, I guess, thinking it might help with the one tip before I figured out that, I didn't remember. Well, you can look in all-in-one toolbox. That was that one I was showing all the tools. You can see, when you look in there, you can also see how much space they're taking up. And so I realized that on this one and the other one, it's only like 200 megabytes, but on the one that I uninstalled Chrome from, it was a gigabyte. And this, and that was actually these things aren't 4 gig. I think they're 2. No, they're not 2 gig, are they? I don't know. I just saw that a minute ago. Now I forgot. I thought they were 4 gig, but anyway, if they're 2 gig, no wonder they fill up. But and I tried to disable all these newsstand and all that stuff, and I did it in one and didn't in. Well, I did it once in one phone, and it made things not work right, and then I had to put it back. Tried it recently in all of them, and I swear they're 3 identical phones, same operating system, same, Alcatel A845L phones, but I swear I can do something in one that I can't do in another, like taking that out. And they all have the all-in-one toolbox on there and all that. Maybe I'm crazy and I just can't find the spot again. I don't know, but SSH drawer is really good. You turn that on, and then you can SSH and do SFTP and copy and delete files and do all kinds of stuff. Just don't leave it running. Don't let it start up with your operating system. I used to use Quick Support TeamViewer, but it worked better at first, but over time it got to where, I don't know why, but it got to where you couldn't use it for 5 minutes, and it's already lagging to where you can't use it anymore. And on top of that, and I guess as the versions changed, it actually got less efficient. But on top of that, recently I decided I don't really like using it. I don't like having it on my systems anymore. I haven't taken it off the phones yet, but I could do that and see, instead of I didn't used to have this endoscope cam. I suppose I could use it to do just for myself, to work on the phone. But I used to do remote phone top, so that I could. It hurt. It gives me a headache, hurts my eyes, makes them sting to keep looking at that tiny screen and try to do things on it. So I would, and plus I like using the mouse on the phone. So I would use my mouse and key and number one, full keyboard. So I wouldn't have to try to type on a phone. I just can't do that. That's a really good app, Wi-Fi Analyzer. That helped me a lot. See the D-Link. See, it's the strongest one. I'll leave it on the narrow, since normally I turn it the other way where it's wide. But see, that's how much is right here at my house. That's how many Wi-Fi signals there are. But my D-Link and my D-Link Guest, the red and the blue, they're the strongest. Of course, they should be. I'm right here at it. And then, can't see it. Well, if I turn it the other way, turn it up, I think I can still lay it down. Yeah. Get it straight. Okay, now can I read? Okay, see, there's an AT&T that's on my same. I went all the way down there to channels 2 or so to try to get away from everybody else, and now somebody else joined me down there. But because it was all full between 4 and 13, 4 and 11. Basically, that's channel 2, channel 6, and channel 11 that's being used. But there's Spectrum, Wi-Fi, Netgear, Jeff. That's my next door neighbor. Jeff together give me a bunch of computers. That's his old router that he left with his parents, to use after he moved out. I mean, it was just his main router, and then he left it there and got him a new one or whatever. Star Blazers, I don't know whose that is. It's been there for years and years. My Spectrum Wi-Fi, that's a default charter router. Spectrum is what they call it now. And AT&T, DL, so-and-so, so-and-so, I don't know whose that is. Probably next door neighbors on the other side. But what's that other one? I'm wondering why I don't see my. Oh, there it is. DDWRT. It's on the same. That's my repeater. It's kind of behind that ATT8. There it is. DDWRT VAP virtual something. That's my Linksys with DDWRT on it out in the garage, which is repeating my Wi-Fi signal, and it went to sleep. It's repeating my Wi-Fi signal and actually I'm really using it right now. My backup server's running out there, and that's how it stays online. And it's actually working fine. It even surprisingly worked and did not lock up or any of that stuff. I had two fans out there, but that day it got to be 111. It's even that whole week of 105 to 109, 111 one day, it kept working. I had turned it off and turned my IBM back on my server. Get out of this now. And it got to making more noise again and driving me nuts. And so I turned it off and turned that back on a few days ago. And I thought the very next day I decided I'm going to install Fedora, try to install Fedora server on my Raspberry Pi. It'd be a silent server, and it's it's a bit more. It's more powerful than the 500 megahertz gateway out in the garage. It's a 750 megahertz with 4 gig SD card, and that should be just enough for Fedora server and my website, probably without a GUI. Well, I don't think it has a GUI. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Hadn't done it yet. But anyway, always talking about using and talking about my phone. So since, and this is and that's my phone 1. Can't hardly read the writing on there anymore. That's a 1. Dawn 1. And it's working good. Okay, so I did do a long enough test, I think. Getting really hungry now. I think I did a long enough test. You see, I'm just running it like that. And, it hasn't been charged. It was already at like 85% or 83% the other day. And so since I've taken it apart and the battery's been just laying, of course, I don't know if it goes down more. It should go down less, not plugged into the phone, but it's at 66% after 3 or 4 days. I don't know. What has it been? It's actually not been that long. It was yesterday when I did all that. It's only been 1 day. But I was using the phone, the cameras outside, and that really runs them down fast. So I was around 83 to 85% when I took the battery out yesterday. So, after, I don't imagine it lost much. The batteries are still doing good. But I don't imagine it lost much, laying out unplugged. Shouldn't. But I've been running it here for a while, so they're not the best, but they're not the worst. And so, I don't. It's just really hard to do a steady video carrying a phone around. I don't care what you got it mounted in. So I just leave them in tripods and keep them plugged up. And even if I'm outside, I'll plug them into an extension cord. There is one thing: they don't handle heat well at all. I told you yesterday about one of them locked up at somewhere between 97 and 105 degrees when I was out there that day. Well, of course, in the garage it wasn't that hot. It wasn't 105. I'm sure it was, but who knows what it was inside the garage? I didn't have a thermometer in there. But let's see, what cameras do I have on now? Oh, let's get back up here where it's just the cameras. Okay, 1, I turned off IP webcam. I think it's the one I'm holding. Okay, there's 2. It's just aimed. I didn't really need that. It's just never used it today. I don't know. I just turned it on feeling like maybe I might need it. I turned it on and let it be zoomed out so I could see the area. I thought maybe I could look over my shoulder down at the work table, but all I could see is the back of my head. So I did like usual and aimed that one down. But so I might as well turn it off and power it down, and I'll get it back in the tripod. Let's see, it goes in that one up there, and let me aim my camera up. Oh, I've been sitting there leaning forward in that chair so long. That really hurt getting up. Okay, so I didn't get it up high enough. I guess I'll fix it. I don't like leaving things like that. Better to have it too high than too low, that's for sure. I just rammed my finger into the leg of that work table. Okay, so that's good. Got it back in service. I think it'll be all right. I wasn't real worried at first, but when I got inside there and saw water in the battery tray, then I got fairly worried. But I did know that I've seen all kinds of stories, and mostly I just see the headlines on the YouTube videos. My phone fell in the lake, but it still works, and I dried it out, and this is how. But I never really have went and watched the videos because I already knew how to do that kind of thing. But and usually they were all full of hype. It's like when you see those clickbait type titles, I don't even click on them anymore. There's never what they claim in the videos. So even some people that I used to like watching their videos, when they started doing that, I quit watching them. So don't do that. You're not helping. If you already got a popular channel, it's going to stay popular if you just make the kind of videos you've been making. If you start making clickbait crap, you're going to lose people. You're not going to gain more. Guarantee you. So even if you know all about, way more than I do about how to make a popular channel, which most everybody does, or they do it. I know a lot of things, but I don't do it. I do what I want to do. It takes long enough to make videos. I just can't bring myself to spend even more time editing them. So that's why I just do live videos. That, and I think I just enjoy it more because I used to do live sound for bands, and I always enjoyed that. There's something fun about a live show, and I never really thought about it before until YouTube started allowing you to do that. Because there was other live video sites, but I thought it was kind of neat, but I didn't try doing it myself. I thought I wanted to, but I just didn't ever get around to it. Well, I didn't have a way to do it. I didn't have a camera that was good enough to do it with. I was always waiting to get really good equipment because I had used really good equipment over the years, and I used to volunteer on cable TV shows and use real studio cameras and stuff. Used to run camera on there and do sound sometimes for. Like one cable show, I did the sound recording for live concerts. That was hard because they were way over in Dallas. It was 65 miles over there where that cable studio was. So I never got a chance to see my work, and so I didn't know how to adjust it, to make it better. And then another show, it was the same. Well, no, there was two of them, but anyway. I also ran camera in the studio sometimes for that same show when they would do little, have interviews, bands and stuff. I got to be the interviewer once. And then there was another one that was about hip-hop music. And this was all about Christian rock bands and Christian hip-hop bands and stuff. And I was really involved in the local Dallas-Fort Worth Christian rock scene throughout the, the 89... 89 to about 2000. I was real involved in it, and I really enjoyed it. But anyway, plus I also like to sing and write, and finally I recorded some songs of my own over the years too. But I went blank. So anyway, phone works. Okay, so now I can put stuff all back together the way I normally use it. It kind of throws me off because I know phone 1 is up here, phone 2 is back there, audio's on phone 3, and now they're all different in different places. And I have to, when I'm going to switch, when I get on here on my desktop, I'll get on desktop and I go into the OBS Studio. See, when I go to switch, I was like, which one is it I want, and so. Yeah, now I was kind of worried that I might lose a camera, but it's okay. I would like to have. I almost tried to buy one recently. I started to buy. I found it on Alibaba. I mean, not Alibaba. Alibaba's sister site, AliExpress. I was going to order some computer fans, and then they had, you get $4 off. I got bargain fever. You get $4 off if you spend $10 more. So I started looking at what kind of things would I want, and I've really been grieving over having to point this camera at the monitor and it'd be all blurry and you can't see what's going on. And there's so many things I want to do that you just have to point a camera at the monitor because I can't do remote desktop in that situation. So I thought, well, if I had something where I could plug the USB into the computer, then I could get the full 1080p instead of trying to stream it. You just can't do more than 720p on with these phones anyway. It's not my Wi-Fi. I'm almost certain. I think it's because it's supposed to do 1700 megabits, but my phones, the most they'll do is 35 megabits. So I think that's the bottleneck. But anyway, they had one for $20 that was 1080p, and you could plug it into the computer and use it as a webcam with USB. And I thought, okay, I'll get it. And then I tried to I did my order and went through the whole thing. I've been a member of Alibaba for years, but it was such a hassle. And plus, I more and more started realizing I couldn't. Anybody I wrote to, you had to buy as a business, and you had to write to them and tell them how much you were going to buy, and they'd lie about the products and say it was. One time, one of them said it was new on their page, and then I found out it was actually used, and so I just never felt confident I could trust any of them to buy from them. And then when the AliExpress came in, it looked interesting, but it's been a few years now, but I never bought anything. And then somebody online, Morton over that does the server videos that I like so much, he was mentioning he'd been buying stuff from AliExpress and it worked out okay for him. So I thought, well, maybe I should try that because I couldn't find those fans at a decent price. I couldn't even hardly find a 3-pin 70 millimeter computer fan, period. But I mean, not very many of them, and $8 to $11 for one is just crazy. So because I found them for $2 and something, Well, I found them from anywhere from $1.25 to $2.50 or 80 cents or something, and the ones that I thought would work well for me were like $2.50 something, I think. So anyway, I was gonna get that, and then I went to check out, and it got an error page, this. And that's it. And then when I went back into my account, it said, "Okay, your order's been set up, been placed, but you got to pay for it." And I was like, "Hold on, that's the oldest scam on the internet, pay twice." And then I finally decided that. So I went ahead and there was a deal where you could write the supplier that you were buying from. So I wrote them, and I actually copy and pasted that error page and put it in there. Well, I got kind of odd answers from. One of them didn't answer for 3 days, and one of them answered and said, anyway, both of them just said, well, one of them, after a couple of days said, oh, well, we take, AliExpress takes, this, and this. You can go here for help. Well, I'd already been there for help, And one of them said, didn't even make sense. He said something about I was thinking about I don't think I can make a video on that and share it because it would be showing my account information and everything. But the other one said, not even full, of course they're Chinese, and this wasn't full sentence and not good English. So, sorry, too late, something. I don't know what they were even trying to say. And so I found a place where you can chat with the actual, AliExpress. And I actually think I remember Morton, which videos I watched, saying he had to do that. I think he had the same experience. And I think, if I remember right, he said after about 3 days, he finally, nobody would, no help with emailing anybody or anything. He's probably doing kind of what I was doing. He finally found the chat thing and got on there, and they had him to cancel. There's a place you can cancel your order, and I hadn't done it yet. If you don't do it within 12 days, it cancels it automatically. And you can cancel your order, but I don't want to order again if I don't know if it's going to work, So I thought, well, I guess I should really. I don't want to, but go ahead and chat and talk to him. But I think he said that they asked him to cancel the order and then reorder and don't pay with a credit card, pay with PayPal. I don't really like PayPal anymore. I had an account for years, but I haven't used it in many years. I don't really trust them, and I don't have them hooked. I don't want them hooked up to my bank account. I don't have them hooked up to my bank account anymore. But I do have them hooked up to a credit card, so. You can still end up in a fight with them over something, if something goes wrong, them trying to taking stuff out of your credit card. But basically, it's kind of all, if you look at their TOS, it's all stacked to their favor. It's not like a credit card where you're pretty well protected, where if something goes wrong, you'll get your money back. It's very different. And so, anyway, if I just need to go figure, I figure I ought to at least chat with them and find out what they say. I started to just cancel it, and then I said, no, I should chat with them because I can't find that stuff. It'd take forever. It'd take up to 60 days to get that stuff. Anywhere from 2-3 weeks to 60 days. But I don't want to pay a fortune for one little fan either. So it all comes from over there. So why pay more for the same stuff? So, if I set up my server on the Raspberry Pi or another machine, then I can just I can wait that long to get the fans and then do whatever I want to do later. If I like the Raspberry Pi as a server, I really want to make a project with it because it has all those. IOs, in and out, since you can do sensors and this and that and the other, PWM and all this stuff. There's things that you can do with it. It's kind of a waste to use it as just a server or something like that, to me. So I always had projects in the back of my mind to do with that. So anyway, that's my next thing I need to do. I guess I may be too tired to get to that tonight. I wanted to do that after I did this, but since then, I really got to looking back around and back on that site, and I realized, well, if I'm going to spend $20 on a 1080p, action camera is what it was. I don't think I said that. So it has no optical zoom or anything like that, and they have the fisheye look. So I don't know. That's the other thing is, if I'm at my monitor, it still may look fisheye even though you're up really close. I'm afraid it would. But if I'm going to do that, and the whole purpose of the button, I would like to have a camera I could carry around outside, wear it on your hat, or whatever, and walk around with it. That'd be great. They also have the underwater case and all that. I really haven't been. Used to love to swim underwater and stuff, and I always wanted to really get into scuba diving. I only got to go once and do it once, but over the years. But blocking my mic there, I'm not that close to it. Anyway, they're older models, the ones that I was thinking about getting. So they originally were, I guess about $150 when they were new or something, maybe 200. They're still new, but they're old stock. But then they also have some 4Ks that are $30 and $35 and stuff. So I thought, well, why don't I get a 4K? You just got to pay attention because there's such a range. They'll say 1080p. Don't just look at the big print. Look at the actual specs and see if it really has anything that you want, what you're expecting. And I spent 2 days and an entire night. I stayed up all night. And that's how I got on nights and made myself sick, really, wearing myself out, just finding those fans. And that was 3 days before that, on and off. I'd spend 3 or 4 hours each, different times, or 2 to 4 hours, I'm not sure, looking at fans on other sites. Like I started out on Amazon because that's plain, quick and simple and usually fair prices, but it's not with those fans. But so I've got dang near a weekend trying to find fans and looking at cameras for about two. Well, I've looked at cameras more since then, so I've got about 4 days in looking at cameras now too. And I really didn't want to spend the money on one right now, even though I want one. But trying to keep what little I have saved up for important things. But really, what I really want is a camera with optical zoom. And I did see some little regular video cameras with optical zoom, and it doesn't have to be super great, just some decent optical zoom. Because when you zoom with digital zoom, you see what happens on every one of my videos where I point at the screen. It's just blurry. It's crap. The optical zoom that actually has a zoom lens in it, that's what optical zoom is. The actual lens zooms instead of just digital zooming. Like what I'm trying to do right here, you can see that pole behind me and a little clip and the wooden homemade selfie stick that's holding that camera that's behind me, that it actually is pointed at the monitor. And well, here's what I'm talking about. This is the best I can get out of doing that. That's with digital zoom. And it's just not anywhere near good enough at 720p. Well, and that's the other thing. These other cameras I'm looking at, and I saw some of those. You have to pay attention because not all of those. It's not as common to have the webcam type function. Plug it into USB and go live to the that way to the. That'll allow. I'm sure that would allow me to do the 10. I'm almost sure that'll allow me to do 1080p through USB, because Wi-Fi I don't. Even with, I'm sure there's chips in those things. They're not expensive cameras. They're not going to have fast Wi-Fi chips. They're probably going to be about like what's in my phones. So probably still wouldn't be able to do higher resolution. So, but anyway, one of those other regular little mini, small home video cameras, about $135. I saw one that looked like it had all the specs that I would want. and to, nothing fancy, but would do what I needed to do. But I kept debating back and forth because it's really cool to have a camera that's tougher, the action camera that you can, like when I have a lot of work I want to do outside, and you can use it for that kind of stuff. But as far as the temperature, I don't know that I was thinking about the temperature. I think the most I saw was 111, 115 degrees, so that they would keep running at. So I guess they would do better than the phones by far, but they still get. You got to remember that's how hot they are. So if they're, say, sitting in the sun and you're working on your truck, then they're going to get, if it's 95, they're probably going to get up to that. So anyway, I guess I'm talking about that because I just get to working on my phone camera. But for a long time, I thought, I don't need any more cameras than this, But now, or anything even fancier or better. But the more I make videos, the more I want a better camera. And the only thing I don't like is the lag on the Wi-Fi audio setup, streaming the audio. But and especially since it changes, you could actually fix it in OBS Studio pretty good, but the conditions change. I don't know if it's got to do with the battery management in these phones. Could be a lot to do with it, because they do keep wanting to. Well, they'll slow down the Wi-Fi and turn it. I have to, like I said earlier, you got to watch out. It'll turn it off. Some of these apps, but I think it slows it down at times to try to. When the battery gets. Well, that's one reason why I leave it plugged in, though. So, but yeah, if you just unplug these and carry them around, the Wi-Fi speed seems to drop in half. The frames start dropping. You can see it right here in my room, that close to the router. I showed you where it is a while ago. So, some of those action cameras, a lot of them have Wi-Fi, and I saw some videos. I watched a bunch of videos of some of them, trying to see what would be a good one, to get. When I got serious about it there, and it looked about the same as what I'm getting out of these phones. I could see the lag in the video, in the videos people were making, the demo videos or reviews or whatever. So, and that was with action cameras. I didn't see any on any little low-end video cameras. And I saw one. Oh, I'm jabbering away. I saw one that's what kind of camera I always wanted for the last 20 years. It was a Sony that's, I don't know if it's 5 years old or probably no more than that, because it was a full 1080p. But it's what they used to call a prosumer camera, pro consumer camera. But it was full 1080p, and when it was brand new, it was $4,000. And they still sell that model brand new on Amazon. They say they're brand new, and they say, I didn't read every word, but I saw something on one of the listings that said, Sony has marked these down and is still selling them, blah, blah, blah. And they were like $2,300 or $2,000. Yeah, about $2,300 or something like that. And you might think, what the heck? I'll get a 4K for that, but this is a real camera. I used to own a Sony BVP3, and I told that story I think yesterday. I bought it in an auction in the mid to late 90s for $350 from a big audio video company that had a big auction in Dallas, and they were getting rid of their old gear. And I got it for $350. It was it was a tube camera, but when it was brand new, it was $10,000. And this is a real studio camera, but you could also carry it on your shoulder and use it portable. You had to have an external VTR, video tape recorder, and it was for 3/4 tape. But it also had a test output that you could put an RF cable on, and I would plug it into a VCR, and it would send 750 lines to that VCR. So that tape got the full, I think it's 50 lines per second was the max a VCR could do. Well, I plugged it in. I have one right over yonder that's a super VHS, and I actually was a master control operator at a little small local Dallas TV station for a while back in those days, back in the mid-90s, I guess it was.
and they actually were recording. They had a studio too as well, and they do live shows and record them, then play them back later. And I was the guy actually at the tower, up in a building built into the TV tower, where we did our master control. And I was the guy playing the programs on the tapes, and and just in the audio, I was trying to make the commercials not too loud because that was a real problem. So I always hated that. And anyway, they used Super VHS. They actually did for broadcast. Now you could kind of see the difference between that. It wasn't quite as high resolution. Of course, it was not near as quite as high resolution as, I think Super VHS was maybe 500 lines resolution, and of course those cameras. The camera I had was 750. I remember that. So that was kind of the standard for 3/4 inch tape. This is all analog tape. I'm talking about pre-digital age. Very close. Well, there were some digital cameras out when I bought that camera, but they were like 1-chip. 3-chip was a big deal, but 1-chip cameras were what people could afford to buy, the guys I knew, and they were the prosumer cameras at the time, but mostly people had high 8 or SVHS, guys, that were like in between, not a real TV studio, but a pro, they were actually charging to make videos, but anyway, I ended up selling that the Sony BVP3 a few years later for $1,500, which is pretty cool. I never did. Those are the kind of stories you always hear, but you don't have it happen to you. But it happened to me once. But they were still in the. This was, when was this? This was 99 or 2000. 2000, yeah, right in there is when I sold it, and. Yeah, it might have been 2000, and I sold it to a cable to studio in Old Mexico, and had it shipped down. Well, I had it shipped. They had me ship it to South Texas, and then they got it down to where they wanted it. Because I was like, well, now I was kind of not sure I wanted to try to do that because I knew there'd be all this import export stuff and expense and all that stuff, and it complicated to do it. So they said, well, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We got somebody in, South Texas that'll get it on down to us. So, and he wanted to write a check, and the guy couldn't speak a word of English. He had his secretary talk to him, and she could barely speak good English. But they were on the up and up, and I said, okay, well, if you send me the check, and I clear it, and it's going to take a week or two, then yeah, I'll ship it to you. And he said, okay, and he did it, and it worked. I never done anything like that before either, or since. But something about talking to the people and everything, I just seemed real, So and I had a portable 3/4 inch deck that I actually never got to use. That I went ahead and I was going to have no use for it. You just needed to have a special cable made for it, which I never did. There's a place where I had the camera. Yeah, you needed to have them adjusted and set up. I actually had bought two. I paid $25 or $50 for another one, another Sony, and I made a mistake. The guy that tuned them up for me, I'll say, up in this camera repair place in Dallas that somebody told me about. And it was a good place, but the guy also sold used gear. And he's like, what are you going to do with this? And he knew I liked the BVP3, but the other one was a different model, and it wasn't as in good a shape. It had two cameras could get a spot on the tube, on one of the tubes, the one that picked up the video, and there was this little spot that was just that was always there, little blurry spot is what it showed up in the video. And anyway, I didn't think I needed a 2-camera shoot or anything, And so he said, well, I can sell it for you here, and and I'll get a commission out of it, but I'm not sure I'll get for it. So I said, well, all right, might as well. So he got I think he got $350 for it, and he kept too much, really, but because all he did was repair it. I paid him to repair it, and then he stuck it in his window, and somebody bought it, And but anyway, I don't remember, but I think he got a third of it, let's say, something like that, or maybe more, maybe half. But I think once when I ended up selling the other one, they were very close in model for $1,500. A few years later, I was like, dang, I should have kept that other one. I got to wonder, and I don't know. You're never gonna know. He seemed like a nice fellow, but he could have sold it for $1,500 and told me he sold it for $350. How would I know? Yeah. Somebody's coming in. Oh. Is it acting up? No, but it's not really doing anything. That's the one that frees up and run it. Oh, I didn't notice that. It's 79 in here. Yeah, I didn't notice that was hot. It's not hot. Is it? It's just sitting there at 79 all evening. Yeah, it's probably leaked down. I don't want to burn something on. Yeah, we got no guarantee we're going to end up with a new unit if we burn that up.
Oh, sorry. Weird. Had to take off. I was talking about an air conditioner at the beginning of all this, I think, or in the beginning of all this phone work. That's how I got my phone wet. Where's my camera? That's how I got my phone wet. Was trying to catch a video of the bubble test, the soap bubble test of my air conditioner coil, the outside coil, and I got it, but also squirted my phone with the soapy water, and that's why I had to take it all apart. Well, that was yesterday when I discovered where the leak was, and so yeah, it's leaked back down again. Wasn't cooling just now. Just now got to that point, so we're hoping to get a new one on the warranty. That's why we're not like, having them soldered up or whatever. But actually, the guy. Well, anyway, we're waiting on them to come back. They already charged it up once just to get us out of being hot, But so we ended up. So we had to we decided to turn it off. It's not cooling, and we don't want it, freezing up, and even could damage the compressor. So it can blow them out if you keep on going. So blow them up, ruin them. So we just turned it off. I didn't realize it had warmed up in here. It's 79.3 in here, and it's 83 in the living room. So I don't know why it's cooler in here. That's unusual, especially with me running laptop and a computer. I'm not running my server and my phone. Of course, the phones aren't going to do anything really. But so, yeah, I don't even. It doesn't matter what story I was telling. I was just jawing on about things. So I'm gonna go and hopefully we'll get that thing replaced. Is what we need. It's the second time. This is now the second time it's done that. So we bought it brand new in 2014. We're just looking at the tickets and got it repaired in 2016, and now it's done it again. So, and it's supposed to have a 10-year warranty on it. So, you know how all that junk goes. Stuff, 10-year warranty don't mean nothing when stuff breaks in the first. It broke 14, 15, 16. Now it broke again in 2 years later. So it's actually longer than I thought. I thought last summer's when they repaired it. Anyway, I'm gonna go and. Can't even think straight. I have no idea what I was talking about. I don't think it matters. Okay. See you later.